Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to FTI Takeover.
I am your co-host, Karen Ryan, with
Alex Smith.
Oh, welcome everybody to our episode on our theme topic, how do you measure your self-worth?
Yes, but should we share a little bit of the jingle that we're trying to come up with for FTI
Takeover? We're working on that.
Yeah.
We'll get it down pat for y'all very
We'll get
soon.
it back to you. We're going to have a jingle eventually.
Yes. We both have a little bit of a music background and theater background, so we'll define it.
Yeah, it's really coming into fruition now at this point. But let's talk about a little bit about what FDI means to us. Fucking doing it. It's so important for us to be reminded why you are even listening to us today. And we are hoping to empower each and every single one of you to fucking do it in your life, whether it's in your career, in your relationship, whatever shift that's happening for you. Tap into your intuition, tap into the things that you desire the most and make it happen.
Oh my gosh, fucking do it means fucking making it happen right now. What are you waiting for? Life is right now in this moment. So whatever's happening to you, no matter what obstacle, no matter what triumph or tragedy that's going on, what does your heart desire? Fucking make it happen, because everything you want is instilled and just ingraded in your soul of what you can do. Just fucking do it. Make it happen.
Fucking do it.
And no excuses. We can all put on excuses, but you have the power within you to make everything happen.
And what is the topic for today that we're going to talk about, Karen?
Our topic today, Alex, is how do you measure self-worth?
Feels like a pretty loaded question to ask.
Oh, it's loaded guns on this one, baby. It's like really heavy. It's super heavy.
How do you measure self-worth? First of all, self-worth is a novelty to understand. It's not something you're taught in school. It's not something your parents will teach you. It's not something anyone else can have an opinion about. It's not something that's socially constructed or influenced. It is your perception of who you are and what you believe and what you will do and your values.
Wow, that is so true. I love how you said that your parents can't teach you this self-worthiness. Neither can school. Not even a book could teach you that. It's the experiences that you have, but the younger you are and the more in tune you are with your awareness and your perception of yourself, of who you are as an entity, as a human, as a person, that's when you grab that value. So we're here to teach all of you that. So no matter how old you are, you can definitely tap into the energy that we're sending you your way. We're all about positive vibes and positive energy, but the sooner you integrate this in your life, the sooner you can become of your awareness, because we all are made of energy.
Yes, absolutely. And everything is a vibration. And I think we're vibrating pretty high right now.
Well, I have to
Not always, but right now, maybe.
We're vibrating high. We were vibrating high in the moment that we met. And the good news about that is the law of attraction. So when you are you putting out what you want, you will attract, therefore, what you are. I am what I am. Therefore, I attract who I am and what I desire within my heart.
I love that. Words of affirmation are so powerful. They're completely underestimated. The other day, before we started our first podcast, we were in my apartment and we said, you want to know what? Let's just speak out loud some power in words of affirmation. And we started off with, I am. That is the first step to
Alex,
saying an affirmation. I know.
Let's do it. Let's just do it toward the camera for everybody, like on our affirmations. Okay, so.
Okay.
All right. I am strong.
I am powerful.
I am unique.
I am talented.
I am worthy.
I am kind.
I am deserving.
I am worthy of love.
I am forgivable.
I have self-love.
I have great intentions.
I am here to serve others.
I am here to impact the world with kindness.
I am here to trust in what's unfolding for myself.
I am here to bring value to all those who are willing to hear my voice.
I am here to learn and serve everyone else around me.
I am here to give a smile to uplift somebody's day.
I am living in gratitude every single day.
Oh, attitude
Yes.
of gratitude,
And
waking up.
there's so much, I mean, don't think that we weren't vulnerable just doing that in the camera and saying that out loud, but there is so much that you get from just claiming what it is that you are. And we have to remind ourselves all the time because we're always focused on how we can be better, faster, stronger, especially culturally. We never think we're good enough here in America. We are so built on a facade of social media and the rat race and being at the top and climbing the social ladder and all of these different things
Competing.
that we don't ever think we're good enough. We don't ever think what we do is good enough. In our relationships, we're not measured on like a real spectrum of being good enough because if we're ourselves, we're selfish or we're this or we're that. Who knows, right? There's so much to unpack.
But to be selfish, I just want to clarify this. To be selfish is to be selfish within yourself, taking yourself 100% accountable, taking yourself within all of your self-worth and all of your self-love, and rising above like the status quo of being selfish. I can truly say I'm selfish in my relationships. I'm selfish to give all that I have with good intention and love and kindness to everybody around me. And that's what I put out and that's what I attract. That's all I want.
Yes. Words of affirmation.
Yes.
And if anything, it just feels good to do it. And then we can't be surprised when these great things start coming to us because the first step is putting it out there. Do not expect things to come towards you if you don't put it out there.
No, absolutely.
This life is not a guessing game.
It's
Let
not.
people know how you feel. Let people know where you stand. Let people know what you will tolerate and not tolerate. Set boundaries.
Be firm in your actions and be clear in your words. Communication rules the nation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pass the pasta bowl to you, Alex. Okay. How do you measure self-worth? Go right for it.
How do you measure self-worth?
And
well, I didn't write my own answer in
No.
here. These were surveyed. So
Yeah, these were surveyed by friends and family of ours that we actually surveyed that gave us these answers. We put them in on a piece of paper, put them inside our bowl, and we're going to go ahead and test them out. So we picked these randomly based on the surveys that we have taken.
how do you measure self-worth?
How do you
what
measure
do the people
self-worth?
have to say?
It's a big one. It's a tough one.
We were just talking about this. Follow through with your word. But this is an interesting one. I think that we have gotten into a culture where we text, we social media a lot, we fantasize a lot, and there's a lot of things that happen through technology, but when it comes to spending time together, having a real one-on-one connection, relationship, a date, a dinner, a phone conversation. Oh my God.
Okay.
Am I dating myself? Like, I don't know. How far back am I going when I say a phone conversation? No, but seriously, this is something I think that keeps me up at night because I am a person of integrity. I feel as though I cannot say without doing, but there is so many people that I don't think feel the same way, or it's coming down maybe to an act of courage where now having a phone call or a FaceTime or just going to see someone in person seems like such a big deal. And I don't know if we're hiding behind something or what this is. Like, what do you think
No,
about
we
that?
totally are.
What is that?
We're hiding behind like the smoky mirrors, okay? So with social media, we all know there's lots of filters and they are fun. And I encourage you all to like use them. They're fun, they're true. But when you really get down to your true self, what are you really filtering? So the intimate conversations that we want to have.
Mic drop.
Yeah, wait,
Quote it, write it down.
yeah. Mic drop.
What are you really filtering?
What are you really filtering in your life? We are in such a competition in the world with ourselves, and it goes beyond our own existence where we're competing with each other. And if you're competing with a friend or a loved one or a child or a significant other or with somebody with work, and there's this huge competition of going back and forth, I'm going to tell you something. My years of experience, relationships are seamless, effortless, and just placed in front of you. It's not hard when you are living with your true intention, with truth and love within yourself. So as far as social media goes and all these different filters and things, we want to put up a great front, but Alex and I are here in our true blue, who we are. bold, savvy,
Who
sassy.
shows up to a podcast like this?
I mean, and I am going to, just give a little.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
We're here for it.
It is.
We're all here for it.
We're here for it. But we live with good intention in our full fashionista way. That is just we're being ourselves.
Do what makes you feel good.
Absolutely. And guess what, guys? Do not limit yourself to other people's opinions, because when you limit yourself to other people's opinions,
Please don't. Please,
you are truly not following through with your word. So,
yes. Next one.
Word
Go,
of the
Karen.
day. Listen to your heart and your intention. I'm going to fucking do it. Pick one of these out of here. Okay.
Wait, what's the question again?
Oh, the question is, how do you measure your self-worth?
Self-worth.
Accepting and forgiving.
Easier said than done.
Accepting.
Lifelong journey.
Lifelong journey, forever, from the first breath you take to the last one. So accepting and forgiving. We accept what others cast upon us as their opinions. However, our true opinion is what values our whole well-being. Forgiving others is the hardest thing. In all my years of living, I have truly forgiven everybody that has ever harmed me, but I don't cast blame on them. I truly have to take accountability and say that I allowed them to do that. Had I had set boundaries, another subject, another episode, had I had other boundaries, that accountability is on me. So forgiving someone isn't about them. It's about forgiving them and allowing yourself to have your freedom to live a little bit lighter without that burden on your shoulders. And people want to be forgiven. Because you know what, Alex? People want to be accepted. The most innate feeling that a human being wants is love. And when somebody can be forgiven, that's a release for them. And more, if anything, it's a release for you, allowing them that permission and allowing yourself the permission to let go.
I have a hard time with this one. Okay. And I really resonate with whoever submitted this one as, you know, their way of measuring self-love, and accepting and forgiving is definitely something that I've always strived for, and perhaps it comes with experience too and wisdom at some point in time. But, you know, I've had people really close to me from a family perspective let me down. And I've had to work years on accepting that and years on forgiving. I'm just starting at 32 to really understand what it means to accept and forgive people, even though they hurt me really bad. And I'm also at a point too where I'm realizing that it's all relative. And that is where I see the other side. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see that it's a process. And I see that by accepting and forgiving, that is absolutely an act of self-worth and self-love. Because what is peace without having those two things? And if you want to experience peace, which I think is definitely the ultimate goal, right? Because we don't want to be in captivity of all of this crazy world and be a victim of the things that happen to us. Absolutely not. We have to understand that a necessary part of not being a victim or being at the repercussions of everything that's thrown at us is accepting and forgiving. So I think that there's a lot of people probably working on this one. I feel you. I love you. I'm working on it every single day. But I'm also just trying to, in the process of understanding, accepting, and forgiving, just understanding that those are rooted in my decisions and how I react to something. So the more that I can understand my own mental health and the way that I respond to certain things and the way that things trigger me, the more I can compartmentalize what it means to let that situation go, you know, give that person a blessing, you know, say goodbye to that relationship that sailed. You know, It is what it is.
It is.
You're farther along
no,
than I am
No, Alex. It's not that I'm farther along. You're so wise in all of your words, and just literally like piggybacking off of what you said, there's so much value in what you said, especially where you are in your life. We both love the ocean. Alex and I are mermaids, met very close to the water. And when Alex just mentioned about sailing away, some relationships sail away gracefully upon the water, and some of them drown. And when they drown, you can't really blame it on yourself or the other person.
Perfect way to describe it.
It is. You're either sailing or you're drowning. Head above water, head above a head above water or below. And Alex and I have the same mentality and the same like innate values and morals and ethics of being a human being, that there are people that there are repercussions for your actions, but actions speak louder than words. So when you're present in the present moment and giving that person your extreme integrity, your value, your love, your passion, your kindness, and things don't go well, look at the source, accept it, kind of have to allow the situation, forgive it, and walk away. And I think that through different trials and tribulations in our life, we come across that. None of us are going to have the perfect story. None of us are going to have the perfect road. But for every tribulation that comes up in our life, there will be a triumph. And I promise you, there will be that rainbow, that hope of life. And like Alex said, light at the end of the tunnel.
For sure.
Next question, the pasta bowl. And
it.
please drop
Do.
your comments. Give us suggestions. Let us know how you feel.
Yeah.
How do you measure your self-worth? Being comfortable with yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a big one. This takes me back to my younger years. Okay. It's going to be a body image kind of a thing. But as I was growing up, I was told I was skinny. I was called twiggy. People would throw stones at me. They call me flat-chested. These are all real, true things about my self-image. And somebody very close to me used to call me faccia bruta in Italian, which meant ugly face. I grew up with such a self-image of being like that ugly duckling. And I'll never forget, my mom had all these books for my brother and I, and they were by the Golden Books, and the Ugly Duckling. I was always reading the Ugly Duckling because I knew this poor little duckling, he was just trying his really best to look pretty. And at the end of the story, there was this beautiful swan. And I let somebody else's opinions cast upon me, but it wasn't so much about my outside. I remembered that it was more about my inside, and that I have this desire and this brightness and this light and this beauty within me to never let anything stop me. So I claim myself and manifest and say it out loud. I am unstoppable. I am a child of God, and I am a woman who will stand up and advocate for anyone that needs my voice.
Yes, Karen.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. So I look at that. I mean, seriously, like being comfortable within your own skin. I wasn't comfortable for many years. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I'm comfortable enough to say that I have a voice and a mission to be here to serve all of you. Alex, how do you take that question?
Well, do you think that comes with your experience? Do you think it comes with age, or were you just like hit with that when you were younger and in your 30s? Or have you always known yourself or been comfortable with who you are?
No, great question. Every decade coming up, I was always questioned about that. So when I was younger, I was made fun of for like being like way too skinny and being flat-chested and not having like this, I wasn't tan enough for people. Hence, I stayed out of the sun, 52. Here I am today. When I was in my 20s, had my babies. Yeah. 30s, I was going through an area in my 40s where my hormones were really being displaced, but I saw a functional medicine doctor. I was getting on some kind of hormones that were helping me like regain, whatever. But the point is that with my mindset, it's not about the physical body. We are stronger in the mind than we are in the physical body. And I literally can talk about this for days. I said to myself, I'm not going to allow other people's opinions to cast upon me and define who I am. So, am I comfortable in my own skin? Yes. Am I quirky? Am I kooky? Am I crazy? Am I insane? Do I light the fire everywhere I go without shame in the gain? Absolutely.
I love that.
I am who I am. I'm authentically me. If you don't like me, love me or leave me. I'm good.
I can say that I can relate to this in a lot of ways because I am heavily tattooed, and there's a big stigma around that, or at least there was, maybe not as much anymore. But about 8 years ago, I decided that, I'm not just going to go and get a little tattoo. I was going to fully go in on a 25-hour back piece.
Wow.
And it was such an interesting moment. I remember when it happened for me. I was living in New York. I was doing the grind, working in a sales job that I'm super grateful for. But at the time, it was winter, and I'm a South Florida chick, so, we don't do well when the skies get dark and the air gets cold. So I remember it was Easter. I didn't go home to see my family, and I was walking around my neighborhood in Williamsburg in New York. And there was this awesome tattoo shop in Brooklyn, which I love so much, that I've met some really amazing, great friends. Shout out to Brittany, T Genius.
Oh,
Who's
take
the
me
shit,
with you.
Who is in San Francisco just running the tattoo game out there. But anyways, so I walk into the shop on Easter, and I had passed it a bunch because it was pretty much downstairs from where I lived at the end of the street. And I just wanted to go in there and talk to some of the artists and look around at the art. And I was feeling a little lonely and a little bit lost. And I met an amazing artist when I was there, and I absolutely loved his artwork. And I said, I want to do something, I think, like on my shoulder over here. And he was like, okay, cool. Yeah. And then when I went in, the first day to do it, I said, I wanted this to turn into, I think, something a little bit bigger. I'm feeling all of these things. I'm feeling like I want to leave my job. I'm feeling like I'm not even sure if this is the place that I should be. And I asked him, I said, can I ask you something? And he's like, yeah. And I said, I would actually really like to kind of maybe do my whole back with a tattoo. I know that sounds crazy because I don't have anything else, but I'm a little bit worried about my work. I'm a little bit worried about what I would look like in a wedding dress one day. And I'm a little bit worried about what my parents would think.
Oh, wow.
And he said to me, he goes, first of all, are you in a relationship? And I said, no. And he goes, okay, well, whoever's marrying you better give a lot more of a fuck about who you are than a back tattoo. I was like, okay, check. Yes. And then he also said, all right, in your job, are you good at what you do? And I said, I'm fucking great at what I do. And he goes, okay, so that's not an issue either. And he goes, and what about your parents? What's the deal with them? I said, well, they're hippies. They're pretty cool. And he goes, oh my God, they'll get over it. And I was like, fuck yes, let's do it. And it was such a journey for me to offset so many other areas of my life, but I committed to doing this back piece. Next thing you know, I have 25 hours on my back. I'm going in there every 4 to 5 weeks to get this piece done, and just starting to realize that I have to be comfortable in who I am and what I want to do. And it really offset all of the different twists and turns that I've taken, which I would not be so happy if I didn't do that.
We don't have any Kleenex here at the table, but I literally am about to cry because I love you so much, and for your vulnerability and for you sharing your story with the world. You, my dear, are like the epitome of living your true self and feeling comfortable in your own skin. And I want you to know this. I see your tattoos as art, but they're a part of your skin. I don't even notice them half the time. I look into your eyes, I see your soul, I see your heart, I see the person that you are. And people can be very judgmental. You're tatted, you're a biker chick, you're this, you're that. They'll put a title on who you are.
Also, don't try to pet me. People.
By the way,
that's a whole other episode.
Who's your bodyguard?
Karen.
I am Italian.
Karen.
We all know I'm Italian AF.
Yeah, no.
Don't get near my girl. I'll mess you up. But don't pet. I really like your tattoo. I like your dream catch. Oh, okay. This is like a fine art gallery. You don't touch a Monet.
You
don't touch
all
a
of
Picasso.
The love that we have to give to the artists, specifically
the beauty of it.
De La Torre Studio in Pompano Beach, Gian Felipe and Stephanie and Faye and all the people that I've gotten to work with. By far the best tattoo studio I have ever worked with. And I've been tattooed pretty much all over the world, and I think that is one of the best tattoo studios. I'm so excited. I'm working on a leg sleeve. I'm just going to continue to get super tatted. So if you're into that kind of thing, show some love.
Show some love. We got to
That's
play
it.
Yep.
Karen, serve it up on the next one.
Serve it up. Y'all, I got 3 tattoos. Nobody knows where they're at. So
Mine are visual. Most of them.
I'm a Scorpio. I keep things secret. All right. So the question
is,
how do you measure your self-worth? Setting boundaries with partners. All right. I'm going to take this loud, proud, and bold. I have 4 children. I raised my children to have boundaries with other people. I had to raise myself from the age of 3 and learn what boundaries are. I allowed many people in my life as an experiment. I look back at it now as very experimental. I know right from wrong. My intellect is very high. The boundary situation, I've always played a gamble. And you know what, Alex? I'm not a gambler, but I'm a risk taker. I'm definitely living on the edge, the risk, the opportunity. And I really played my cards pretty right in life to get to where I am today. But setting boundaries is so important. When something doesn't feel well in your gut, that's your gut instinct. You need to walk away.
Yes.
Don't allow somebody else to tell you how you should be living, how you should get paid, what you should be doing. Other people's opinions are not what we truly are within ourselves. So setting boundaries is very important. Relationships, again, we reiterate this every time. All of our episodes, we talk about this because we're so passionate about this, right? About our self-worth and who we are. It boils down to love relationships, sibling, family, parental, business, just in the world in general. It's set a boundary. For me, I can definitely tell you if the respect, the work ethic, the motivation, and the integrity isn't there, I'm out. It's a big Shark Tank moment here, guys. I'm out if those 4 things don't present in front of me. My vote's done.
I've just started to understand boundaries. I have been a people pleaser. I am a Libra, okay? If you're into the astrology signs, we're just like very chill. We're air signs. We go with the flow, all that good stuff. I find myself in situations where I feel pretty uncomfortable with confrontation, unless it's with work, though. By the way, weirdly, I just love to fight for what I deserve. But anyways, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, setting boundaries is something that I'm really starting to lean into now. With partners, I don't know that I've been very successful with that in the past. I have a personality where I feel like I am one way. I don't play games. Like, every person that gets to date me gets like the wife version of me, and I've been told that that's not a good thing. But I can't play games. No. I cannot be who I am not. I just have to actually get better at protecting my energy and setting boundaries with people that I'm actually not interested in and or in that way. And I think this is something that will continue to evolve, but truly, I don't even necessarily know how to give advice around people setting boundaries other than the fact that my therapist has very much helped me with this idea. She told me that, Roberta DeCastro, you're literally godsend. Thank you. But she has told me that every single time that you are making a boundary, that is the most top tier act of self-love. Because it doesn't feel good sometimes to stand up to the people that you love. It could feel like you're hurting them by speaking your truth and telling them, hey, I don't like when you do this. I would really appreciate if you were able to do X, Y, and Z for me. And like I said, I feel like I've always been really good at setting boundaries in the workplace, but when it comes to relationships, terrible.
Well,
terrible.
Not just you, myself and other people. I mean, truth be told, we are people pleasers.
We're afraid of losing people.
We're afraid of hurting someone's feelings, not looking good in their eyes. What are they going to think about me?
Right.
All that plays out.
I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to rock the boat.
I don't want to be the one. But the more truthful you are with yourself and with other people, the truth will set you free. It always will. My mother always said, Karen, tell the truth. Tell a lie, you'll never remember it. You'll be scurrying around looking for the answers. If you lie, you're going to get caught. So I was always afraid of telling a lie. However, there was a period during my time, and especially during my marriage, that I lied to myself, lied to my children. It's the truth. I wanted everything to be okay. Hey, Karen, how are things going? Good. Everything's fine. It's all good. Inside, it was really messy until I found my therapist, Dr. Goldberg. He's no longer in practice. That man was amazing. He's like, live your truth, tell your truth, say how you feel. And it became a big deal for me to do that and to forgive the people that hurt me with bad intention. That's something else. Even though you and I lead with good intention, and many people do lead with good intention, when people lead with bad intention, you feel it within your soul. And to be able to allow them the grace and the forgiveness to let them be, that's their journey. They have to follow it out, right? They have to run with it and do it. But no, you've done a great job, and very wise for where you are in your life. You teach me so much. I learn so much from you. I know you learn a lot from me. But living with your true intention and setting boundaries. I taught my children this, and I'm just going to say it. There's 2 phrases in life. Tell somebody no, or tell them to fuck off. And no matter who they are in your life. Of course, if it's business, you might want to refrain a little bit on the words.
No.
Say no.
Maybe he won't tell you to fuck off to your face.
Exactly.
But he still kind of mean it.
You can tell people if you're afraid and you have an appointment with somebody and you don't want to answer the call or something's going on. I have an appointment. What's your appointment? With yourself. Take time for you. Take time for that self-love and grace. So I think we have one more. We have a couple more. We've got to race through this. Is it your turn? Passing the pasta ball.
Let's see. Okay, so the
question is, how do you measure your self-worth?
Removing labels and identities. Whoever wrote this was very deep. Measuring your self-worth, removing labels and identities. The thing that I think of the most is, first, identities. We are not just our job and our role in the workplace. We are not just our role in the household. And we can attach ourselves to those different types of roles that we play and completely lose who the fuck we are. And the next thing you know, it's like, where did my soul go? I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm saying yes, I'm nodding my head, I'm brushing my hair, I'm putting on my makeup, I'm putting on my smile, but what actually brings me joy? And I'll never forget when I asked someone very close to me, when they were going through something, they were telling me, I'm a business owner, I'm a dad, I'm this, I'm that, going all over the place. I said, okay, hold on, let's pause for a second. Like, what actually brings you joy? And they broke down and started crying immediately because they said, I don't even know what brings me joy anymore. And we can't get so wrapped up in our roles that we forget our self-worth and that we deny ourselves from the things that we want to experience, which is joy and happiness and peace. And we can only define that for ourselves, not what somebody else does for us.
No. I have 2 quick scenarios I'm going to share with you. The very first time I seeked out for a therapist, it was back in lots of years ago. It was probably just a lot of years ago, we'll just say. And I met this doctor, and I went to her, and she said, I'm going to give you a piece of paper, Karen. I wanted you to write down who Karen is. And after 17 titles and identities of who I was, wife, sister, mother, Girl Scout leader, manager of a restaurant, in charge of the religious education program, Union League Club, infant welfare, da-da-da. I got down to 17 identities of who I was. And she said, who's Karen? I said, oh, that's me. I'm 18. And I put down, it's me on 18. 17 titles, and I was 18 on the list. Recently, a very good friend of ours, our social media, and our marketing, beautiful company, Jules Marquisio, her and I went to a women's retreat 2 years ago. They had 60 women in the room. You were given a list of questions, 20 questions. You were to mark off every single experience you had in life. And I was able to mark off, ironically, 17 out of the 20 that I had experienced. I don't want to name the topics. They could be very sensitive for right now. However, the very last question was, do you think you're beautiful? And it was a yes or no. So every question that came up, they said, stand up for your sister who lost a child. So they weren't my questions, but someone stood up. Stand up for your sister who went through a divorce. Stand up for your sister who did this. Very last question. Stand up for your sister who doesn't think she's beautiful. Everybody stood up. And Jules and I stood next to each other. I hit her. She hit me. We're crazy Italians. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Every single woman stood up. Did not think that she was worth the beauty within her soul. So identities and titles define us by society and what we think we should be. Who are we competing with?
We gotta break that shit.
We are. We're fucking doing it. We're breaking that shit. Because here's the thing. There's nothing that holds you back but yourself. It comes back to that. And we're here to tell you all this, like in beauty and in love from our hearts. We're both yoga instructors, meditation, like gurus. We love everything about life and the spirit. But at the end of the day, It's you, yourself, and I. No partner, no friend, no child, no relationship, no work title, nobody at work. Nothing is going to bring.
It's your spirit.
It's your spirit.
Very simply, it's your spirit.
We all fly with
and
that.
You have to spend time with you in order to understand you. And this is just one of the things that you have to strip away and remove to understand that.
Yeah. Lessons learned. Y'all are getting a lot in this
Woo,
podcast. We are bringing it in hot.
Man, maybe we should do a joke or something.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. All right. How do you measure self-worth? Simple and clear. One of our family members or people who we interviewed said getting out of bed. Getting out of bed is the biggest thing.
It's so practical, but for real.
For real. So I listened to a mentor called, his name is Bob Proctor. He's on, I don't think he's on Instagram. And I know for sure he's on Spotify, YouTube, Bob Proctor. Listen to him. Once you get out of bed, the first thing you do as your task for the day is to get out of bed and to make your bed. A bed that is made by you is a bed that is laid and you are ready to get on with the rest of the day's work. By the time you're ready to go to bed, you unfold your bed and your blankets and you're ready to go to sleep. So your first task of the day is getting out of bed. Make your bed, brush your teeth, wash your face, go over whatever your morning routines are. But getting out of bed sounds easy, but that isn't easy for a lot of people. From my personal experience, I've spent many hours in bed due to my situation of, again, my son taking his own life a couple years ago. I have not wanted to get out of bed every single day, including today. But I say to myself, I am here on a mission. I've got great people in my life that love me, that support me, and that encourage me. And I don't need to mention names. Everybody knows who they are. But getting out of bed's a tough deal. But once you get out of bed, you get out of bed. It's the same thing as going to the gym. I mean, Alex, you are a gym advocate. And like you go, 50% of it is showing up.
Not always, but now, yes.
Yes, but 50% of it is showing up. Showing up to the gym is 50% of it. The other 50% is following through. So getting out of bed is not an easy task. And I will say here with true integrity, every day is a hard day for me. I get up, I say my prayers, I wake up with an attitude of gratitude, and I know I'm here on a bigger mission. But it's a tough thing for me to do every single day. So getting out of bed is a big accomplishment for me. How would you take that, Alex?
I feel like this is one of the most important things I'm looking for in a partner is someone who can get out of bed every single day despite whatever hardship is coming, because life is not easy. What I realized at 32 years old is that life is not getting any easier. Sickness, death, mental illness, addiction, these are things that are really coming to fruition. Like all of your habits that you used to have in your 20s and now you're entering in your late 30s have now become your addictions or your bad habits or your good habits. But they're amplified in a way. It's like all of these things that you've been doing will now become integrated in your personality and in how you handle hard things. And I couldn't stress more enough that this is such an important one for people to tap into, is getting out of bed every single day, because it goes deeper than just the physical aspect of waking up and getting out and making the bed, but it actually starts even before that, which is doing the work that you need to do to give yourself the courage, because otherwise you slip into a very deep, dark cycle that affects everybody around you, and the ripple goes beyond your relationships and everything that you do. And the next thing you know, there's been 20, 30 years have passed and no one else is around you, and you ask what happened. And so I know that sounds really deep and far, but I've known many people in my own family, and I think I'm in an interesting position now where a lot of people that I connect with actually are really in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I'm getting a lot of this insight from them going, don't let these things pass by, and when you don't get out of bed, the life will pass you by. You don't get to do the things that you want to do, and we're all about fucking doing it. So we have to reverse that and encourage people to be able to live their truth, but have the tools to be able to do that and access to the opportunities.
I love that. The tools in their backpack. It's either that ship or boat sailing by or it's sinking deep down.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go for our last question.
Do it.
Yes, it's our last question. Bowl empty.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's do it. Demanding respect in the workplace.
Oh, God.
Okay. This goes
I don't think we have enough time for this one. We should just roll into another episode.
This goes deep. I'm going to give a shout out to my best friend since 15 years old, Denise. I love you. She has seen me through more jobs. She has actually a list.
You've had like 20 lives at this point. I feel like when I hear like your experience, I mean that in the best way possible.
I know. I know. We need to just do an episode just on myself and on yourself and our lives. Denise, you know me very well. She knows all the jobs I've had, and she knows all the boys I kissed in high school because I was the kissing bandit. So I've got a little list going on there. But
own that shit. We're reclaiming everything.
Reclaiming everything. We're being real and raw here.
Selfish, too talkative, whatever. We got a podcast.
We have a podcast. We're here to open it up. Demanding respect in the workplace. So we're going to take this on both of our viewpoints. I've had many jobs throughout my life, and predominantly it goes back to sales. Like, I'm definitely a salesperson. I was told by a dear friend of mine, Karen, you can sell ice to an ice cube. Or an ice cube to an Eskimo. Eskimo, yeah. Oh, my dyslexia. But yeah, it goes into that. And there is something about selling yourself and selling who you are. People will trust you. You build a relationship. You build a rapport when you're coming with good intention. It's all good because no matter what you're selling, it could be a coffee cup. One of my business mentors once told me, there's trillions of coffee cups in the world. What makes your coffee cup better than anybody else's? You're selling it and you're loving it. So here's the thing.
It's $1 from the dollar store.
It's $1. Hey, cheers to that.
Yes.
Be bold, be brave. Dollar store.
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree, hook us up with our coffee cups.
He's sponsoring us.
We need sponsors. Sponsor us. No, but seriously, demanding respect in the workplace means when you are walking into an opportunity for an occupation of whatever your choice may be, and you are hired, the person hiring you, it comes from management. Okay, everything leads back to management. I've been in the position of general manager, leader, owner, business owner, hiring, firing. I've been in every aspect of it in business, and it boils down to the mutual respect. If somebody doesn't truly respect themselves, and they come to you as an employee and in the hiring place and in the space of you hiring them, you can feel that insecurity, right? So I'm not going to hire somebody that can't show up. But if you're going to show up for work, you're going to show up on time, you're going to bring value, I'm going to pay you what you are worth. And I'm not going to discount the talents that you're bringing to me based on possibly what my ego may be or my experience may be or my title may be. It's valuable to bring good people into the workplace to perform the job at the highest performance, to lead and be an example for others. What do you think about that?
This is a sensitive subject for me, as I have worked in the corporate world as a woman in sales leadership, and I have had to battle my way through every single part of that. I think I mentioned this in another episode. I've never worked for a woman before, and I want to be that woman that other women feel inspired to work for, because I think that we have to understand our self-worth in the workplace, and we need to demand and still fight for the respect and equality that we deserve and pay equity. No doubt about that. So, with that being said, I think that there is a lot of ways to start tapping into that. One is first tapping into your own innate gifts that you have, the talents that you have, that you were God-given or universe-given, whatever you believe. And I think it's important for you to recognize where your strengths and your weaknesses are, and always play your strengths. But you have to understand what your weaknesses are as well. You have to do that analysis, because weaknesses will happen with improvements over time, but your strengths you can always double down at any moment. So playing on those is always going to be your best bet, no doubt. And I also think that imposter syndrome is a real thing that women have to deal with constantly on a day-to-day basis. I think there was some crazy stat, and I'm like not about to get blown up on stat quotes and quoted and all this, but it is absolutely true that the average man will recognize that they are more qualified for a position than a woman would ever for themselves. And that is years and years and years and years of historical social construction of women not seeing or identifying being able to be in a position like that. From media to history, just historically, women have not necessarily been involved in leadership until this moment in time, at least in America. I know it's not like that in other places, and we are very fortunate that we're at least a little bit here in some areas. But
well, we're both worldly. Demand it. We both are worldly traveled. And the concept of not being demanded in the workplace. So, yes, there has been a commonality of like men overseeing how we think and what we do. I, too, was in corporate America for a long time. Well, I'll give it a good 16 years. And on Good Friday, when you speak about Easter, I walked out of my corporate job, took my photographs of my children. I said, I'm going. And I've got a tendency that when I leave a job, I just say, take my pay and donate it to a charity of your choice, because I'm done being disrespected. And if I'm disrespected in the workplace, you will have that stamp of my approval. I will never be back. That's why I'm an entrepreneur, run my own businesses, and I thrive on that because I am that person that gives other people opportunities. And in one of my businesses, I pay my employees very well. I take a very small percentage off of it, but I want to give them the opportunity to thrive. So when it comes down to integrity and it comes down to respect in the workplace, you have to claim it, you have to believe it, you have to visualize it, and know your worth. And the worth doesn't come down to money. The worth comes back to self-worth and who you are and who you think that you are. And by the way, man or woman, it doesn't matter. Respect is across the board. Integrity, values, morals, and ethics. That doesn't change. That's very equal across the board. And we're all given our talents, whether we're a man or a woman. We have our certain talents that can coincide and mesh to make a company even better than it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it gets more complex when we get into races and minorities and the other adversities that everyone faces in that process. And I want to talk about that eventually and bring on the right people to be able to speak to that. And I just want everyone to know that we love you and we appreciate you for listening to what we have to say. And this particular topic, I will be continued on it for sure, because I'm really passionate about the workplace and being able to rise and own what it is that you have from a business perspective and be able to make it lucrative for you. So we'll get to that.
No, we'll definitely get to get.
Love you.
We'll elaborate on all that. We love you. Just remember, your self-worth comes from within, and your integrity, your values, your morals that make you the person that you are very equitable for yourself. And the more that you allow yourself to live with intention and kindness, it just spreads. So we love you. Thank you for joining in. Let us know what you all need. We're here for you. Light and love.
Know your worth is a big message from today.
Big message. Know your worth, because you are worth every single capacity that your heart desires. You deserve nothing less than all that you deserve. We love you. Fucking do it. We're here for you.
Fucking do it.
Mwah.
Peace and love.